Hi, everybody. We're so excited to be here. Couple of quick questions. How many of you today picked up a magazine? I don't think I see one hand. Oh, one. How many of you went on Instagram? Pretty much about everybody. How many of you tag, share, snap, and want to learn how to do it better? This panel is going to talk all about content and new digital media. So I'm going to ask the ladies to go ahead and introduce themselves and talk about how they transitioned to digital media and what they do in their day-to-day now.
Am I first?
You're the first. Chinae.
Hi guys, I'm Chinae Alexander. It's so great to be here. And I think I'm buzzing. Maybe my earrings are too big. I'm like catching satellites. But I actually started in social media completely accidentally. I was interviewing for a job in social media at a fitness company and started an Instagram account to be like, I have an interest in this. I had 300 followers at the time of the interview. They were like, we cannot hire you because you have no experience. And I was like, I think I'd be good at it. And they were like, we do not hire people based on what they think they'd be good at this company. And I was like, okay. So I ended up starting my own event planning company, which was successful, but my Instagram account kept growing. And I loved it so much, talking to women all over the world about themselves and their lives. And I thought it was like such a cool outlet. And then it has become my full-time business since a year ago.
And what's your handle so everybody can follow you?
At Chinae Alexander. It's Chinae Alexander.
Awesome. Hi guys, I'm Dawn Ferguson. I'm here from Fabletics. We're in town from LA. If you guys don't know Fabletics, we're a flexible VIP membership. We're co-founded by Kate Hudson, premium activewear, but we're all about, the idea that fitness should be fun, right? We don't take ourselves too seriously. We're very colorful. And we're really excited about empowering women and bringing women together. So we're building, I lead social media and in our influencer brand ambassador program at Fabletics. So Carly, my colleague, is right up here in the front, and we're gonna be handing out cards to everybody. We'd love to connect with you. If you're an influencer, I know we'll talk more about this. But if you have desire to connect with a brand like Fabletics and you think we could have a synergy together, come up and meet us. We have a special offer for you and we'd love to be in touch. But yeah, I'm excited to bring a brand perspective to you guys today. I've been working in this space for over 10 years now. I worked with some of the first fashion influencers on the scene. So I've been doing this for a while and happy to kind of share that brand perspective.
Hey guys, I'm Christine Bibbo Herr, and I run the site nycpretty.com. It's a fashion, beauty, fitness website, and I did not know I would be doing this right now. I was a fashion editor for years at a bunch of different magazines for about 10 years, and when the magazine industry started to change and everything went online, I decided to test it out and see how it would work with brands, starting my own platform. And long story short, it excelled and it did really well, and I had to decide, do I want to keep working in magazines and publishing, or should I go for it and just take the plunge? And I took the plunge and it really worked out great, and so now I'm doing everything I did as an editor for my own website and working with brands and people all the time, and just putting all of the hard work and knowledge that I got from publishing to my own website and my own brand. So it's been a great journey, and so many things every day I'm learning and growing, and I've never worked harder, but I've never had more fun. So it's really fun and exciting. And my handle is at nycpretty. If you're following or want to follow, check it out.
Hi, my name is Colleen Wachob. I'm the co-founder of Mind Body Green. In case you're not familiar with MBG, we are a wellness brand. We also have a media company. We have an education business, and then events and experiences. Prior to working at Mind Body Green, I worked in corporate America for 10 years at really small companies like Amazon and The Gap and Walmart. So what brought me to the digital land was really not a passion for digital, but a passion for health and wellness, and really to help people live more complete and fulfilling lives.
Amazing. So as you can see on the stage, we have people from brands, we have bloggers, sites, so you'll get a really great sense from different perspectives on content, but also partnerships. I'm with Digital Brand Architects. I've been with the agency, and we were the first agency to represent digital influencers and position them as brands. So I sit in meetings all day long with companies, and there's not a meeting where influencer doesn't come up. So whether it's e-commerce, whether it's branding, whether it's experiential, whether it's digital, everybody is trying to figure out how do you harness the relationship with influencers. So we're going to really talk about content and also partnerships from the brand side and also from the influencer side. We're going to dig into content first. Christine and Chinae, both of you have really harnessed a voice and found a niche and really focused on that. Can you talk about what that voice has been and kind of like the process of how you got there?
Sure. Do you want to go?
Go ahead.
Well, for me, my kind of process in finding my voice was just being myself. And that has been a really crazy thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, if you just talk like a normal person, people like it. And so it's been really fun to just learn how to share more about the things I care about and really create content that matters to me. And I'm kind of like, what do I want to read? What do I want to see? Like, I also like to talk about things that are issues that are coming up in the world, whether that's what feminism looks like as like a modern, cool woman, and how to like destigmatize subject matter like sexual health, reproductive health, politics, all of it. And in the wellness world also, like I'm not a trainer, I don't have any sort of credentials for this. I'm just like a person that likes those things. And so I was really looking for a real girl's guide to this lifestyle and who didn't take themselves too seriously and who sometimes is like, I'm hungover, you know? And I think that's like a thing that I want to share with people is like wellness is attainable and just find other women that are like me and befriend them and really talk to them and communicate with them as like a peer. So that was kind of my, I don't know if that counts as a content strategy, but
no,
I just am trying to find friends. That's mostly it.
Being authentic and building the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Christine?
I think for me, it was an extension of what I did as an editor. So I didn't really know I was going to be doing this. So I started dabbling and showing what I love in life. So a little bit of my fashion, outlook on life, beauty, fitness, wellness. And again, I'm not a trainer or certified in anything. It's just sort of what I do and what I love. So Mondays I usually cover some fashion, and I think I'm a little bit programmed because I was an editor, so I like to have a little bit of a schedule for the website and also sometimes for Instagram, or I just let Instagram kind of tell its own story sometimes. But Mondays I try to do fashion, Wednesdays I try to cover Workout Wednesday, or maybe it's a fitness gear or a fitness workout that I love. I'm a runner, I surf, I snowboard, I'm very active, so I like to tell and show people tips and tricks that I love, but I don't want to make it sound like I'm an expert in the field. It's just something that I like to do. And then beauty as well. We do a lot of beauty giveaways, and I work with brands to try out new products and see what works for me and my lifestyle. It's sort of a well-rounded site. Girl living in New York City, I travel, I like to have fun. It's sort of a look into my life. And also connecting with people. I find that it's so amazing, the networks and the relationships that I've bonded over. And I recently did a legging collaboration, and I reached out to some girls to say, hey guys, whether you're my friends on Instagram or I sent out some DMs, does anybody want to try these out and help me out? And the overwhelming response to the girls that said, oh sure, let's do this, we want to support you, it was so refreshing and so nice to see that there are so many people that want to just help each other out. There's like a bunch of girls in this audience here that I either met on Instagram or just through the industry, and it was such a breath of fresh air to know that there are so many girls out there that want to actually help each other and lift each other up. And I think doing this, I was able to find a whole group of a new network and a new a lifestyle, really. And it's really refreshing. And thank you all. It's fun, and hopefully I get to meet a lot of you today.
I think that's a really good point when she talks about she was working with this legging company. Instead of just taking the leggings and doing a picture of the leggings on her bed, she reached out to her audience, and she then collaborated and coordinated to get the girls to get to wear the leggings, which then she hired a photographer. So much goes into the content that is being produced that a lot of times as just the audience, you may not know what went in to make that shot. And from the brand side, we get a lot of requests often that we'll send in an image and the brand will be like, oh, but we really don't like the way her legs are crossed. Can she cross them to the left? I'm like, well, you have no idea what went in to get the shot with the legs to the right. So no, she can't reshoot. Can you guys talk a little bit about just like what goes into your content in terms of like energy and investment, because it's not like a quick reshot of a photo. Want to start with you, Chinae?
Sure. I'm probably I call myself like the black sheep blogger because I will literally ask my UPS man, I'm like, hey, can you do me a solid and take a picture of me? and it's much harder to find that UPS man to reshoot, so that's a thing.
With the same lighting and
yeah,
the same
I'm
outfit.
like, wait, my outfit is different. No, but I think for me, it's more about the writing and the caption, and that's like I know that like in social media you're not supposed to write long captions. I don't believe that. I love to write. So for me, it's been really about, obviously capturing a nice photo and a nice aesthetic, but really when a brand comes to me and says, we want you to be more concise or we want you to say something else, that to me is actually more painful because I'm like, no, but I know these people, these are my community, these are my friends, and I know how they will respond. So for me, I shoot with photographers a lot, and it's usually on set, and that's usually for personal reasons, or I actually love collaborating with the brand themselves and saying, like, let's do this together, let's shoot together. But for me, it's much more about that written content, and I don't want to lose myself in the written content. So that's always like a struggle to really communicate to a brand, like, this is important to me, and this is why I can't change what I'm doing content-wise.
And you don't want to use 8 hashtags and 4 brand tags.
Or like,
this
is what I move, this is why I move. And it's like, no, people don't like that. So yeah, that's the simple truth. I'm not so much into the photography, but I think you probably have more to say about that.
About what?
Like the shooting and like,
yeah, well, luckily my husband's a photographer, so I do have that in my back pocket, which is, it's a lifesaver. So if we do, have a time crunch or something like that where a brand comes to me and says, hey, would you want to test these products out or give it a try? I will sometimes turn down jobs. I might say, this is not me, this is not my brand, it's not on what I want to talk about. Or every now and then I'm pleasantly surprised and I'll say, you know what, let me try this product because it might be something I'm interested in, but I don't want to put it out there until I've tested it, tried it, and I can get behind it. So having my husband as a photographer does help. But like Reesa was saying, a lot goes into that day, whether I'm paying someone or not. That's a weekend we're shooting. That's a whole, he gets home from his day job and then we go and, jump around New York City. And if you look at my feed, you see I jump a lot or I'm active and energetic. So wherever we are, it's taking out time it's a job. It really is a job. And I look at it as my business and my brand. And I think some girls want to get into this and they say, hey, how do I become this? Or how do I become this blogger or this Instagram person? And I think it's about being true to you. It's not like, oh, I want to go be this person or I want to go create that shot. Do what is you. Do you. You have to feel and really be in it, I think, to make it genuine. So it's almost like not trying. I didn't even know, like Chinae was saying too, I didn't know I'd be doing this. I had no idea 5 years ago if you said this is your job, I would have laughed at you. And it just, the way it happened, I think it's just a little bit more organic and not trying too hard, maybe, if that makes sense. Did I answer your question? I'm not sure.
I would add to that too. I think from the brand side, like you bring up a really good point. I think the best, it has to be a collaboration. I think brands who are just, are giving weird feedback like that is just, it's not authentic to your channel. And part of the reasons we work with influencers, with all of you guys, is because you have unique voices, right? You're content creators, you connect with your audience, and we're all about supporting that because we want an authentic relationship. Of course, on the brand side, the flip, side to that is that we know what works, right? So at Fabletics, for example, and Textile, the broader company that we're a part of, we're very data-driven, and we have cracked our media channels, right? So we spend a lot of dollars in media, and sometimes, you want to apply, we know what works. We spend a lot of money, and we drive, and we know what works. So in ways, what I like to do with influencers is work together, right? Like this is what we found really drives results. We want to make this a longer term partnership. Here's what's authentic to you. You do you and have that voice, but kind of work together, I think is the best way to do it.
Colleen, I know that you work with influencers in a different way and it isn't always just about the numbers game. Can you talk a little about what your strategy is?
Yeah, so at MindBody Green, probably 75% of our brand partnerships have some level of influencer activation. And we have a different approach to influencers. We treat them as part of our extended MindBody Green family, our extended community. And what that means in real life is these people are coming through our office on a daily, on a weekly basis. They're coming to our events. And some of the things that I think make great influencer partnerships are the authenticity around it. So if it's a brand that doesn't work for you, just let us know off the bat, because the worst thing that can happen, I think, for any relationship is when someone takes an Instagram post down after a campaign. People see it, people know, it doesn't go over well. So being authentic in kind of the choices that we make. And right now, the influencer space is really crowded. There's so many, great, amazing voices that are emerging on a daily basis. So just being super professional and, getting things in early. If you really like the brand, show them some extra love. They'll make a recommendation to want to work with you again in the future. And just building relationships on the media side with the team at Mind Body Green has been something that leads to repeat referral business. When you get to know someone and you know what they're all about, people want to work with you again, and that leads to more business.
For those in the audience who may be new to blogging or trying to figure out how to work with, brands or talk to a brand or approach a brand, how would you recommend them reaching out to you? What do you really look for in that email when they're like, hey, I really want to work with you. Thanks, Chinae. Obviously,
I'm really much better at writing emails than that, Reesa.
But what sticks out for you?
Yeah, I think so. Funny story. Christine and I actually worked together when I was here in New York with a different brand. And you reached out to me, and I think it's one of the most amazing things. I think influencers, especially micro-influencers, will get nervous about those kind of things. And like Colleen mentioned, it's such a saturated space. We only know who we know, right? There's new influencers popping up every day. I follow 1 million of them, so do everybody else. But it's like you never know the new things, and it doesn't hurt just to reach out directly. What I think is most valuable is give me ideas. Like, tell me what you want to do. Tell me what you bring to the table. What's your POV? What's important to you? Did you write a book? What's your message? What's your purpose, right? And all of those things, what you're trying to accomplish, we can kind of work together, right? So if you lead fitness classes and you reach all these people and you connect with your community, and we can provide clothes for you to have at an event, whatever it is, or you have an idea for a campaign, like it's January in our case, right? It's like new year, new you, everybody's excited about, and we want to help continue that momentum. So pitch an idea to us, contribute to our blog, talk about, give something specific. And I think then, as a marketer and from the brand side, I look at that and I'm like, oh yeah, good idea. Let's do that. So I think that's what it really is for me.
What about you, Colleen?
Absolutely. I think people who come with an idea of what feels authentic to them, a reason why there's shared values or shared missions across the brands, those things always resonate when it's coming from a place of, I already like this product, I already like this brand, I just love to share it in a really genuine way. Those are the types of emails and the types of sentiment that really get noticed. Overall, I think everyone just wants it to be authentic, whether it's the brand, whether it's the influencer, or whether it's the media company.
Yeah, I think across the board, for the brand and the influencer, we hear that authenticity is one of the most important things in a real true collaboration. So with, trying to reach out to brands and get a yes, often, brands are reaching out to influencers and it may not be a fit in terms of the content or in terms of the messaging or the brand. And Chinae, I know saying no to you has been super powerful. Can you talk a little bit how you do that, even though there may be big dollar signs attached to whatever the deal or the opportunity is?
Yeah, I think for me, because this was never my dream, it's kind of grounded me in a certain way of really being like, all right, what do I care about? What do I actually, am I allowed to curse? I don't think so. What do I actually give a crap about? What are the things that matter to me? And if things don't align with the things that matter to me, I think there's a power in saying no, not only because you're standing up for yourself and your brand, but brands respect that, actually. I've actually gone back and told a brand, halfway through the process of a huge deal, I don't like the way this is going. Or this actually, I did a campaign recently that they pitched it to me as one way, we agreed to it, then in the middle they were like, we're actually taking this turn, and it was really demeaning to women. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. And they were like, but you're contracted. I'm like, I don't care. Talk to my lawyer if you really want to, but I'm not gonna do something that demeans women in any sort of way. And I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care about the paycheck aspect of it. It's But I told them, I was like, I need to get on a call with the client, because it was through an agency, a middleman. And I said, listen, you shouldn't do this. Like, this is not good for you. Like, I promise this will not turn out well. So I'm actually trying to save you like a Kendall Jenner Pepsi moment. Like, let's not do that. Like, but I don't just say no, I say no and. So like, no, but here's what we can do, and here's what will work, and here's what is empowering. And like, hi, let's have a conversation about it. And you know, sometimes it's just not a fit. Like, the brand is not a fit, and I promise that every single time you say no, there will be 10 more that you say yes to that are better. Like, every single person where I'm like, does this feel like I'm doing this for a paycheck? And like, there is such a terrible feeling when you're about to push that post button and you don't believe it. And so a long time ago, I decided basically I'm never gonna push that button if I don't feel like this is something I would share with my friends. This is something that I'll stand up. This is something I won't remove from my feed. You know, I've never removed a sponsored post from my feed ever, because I stand behind the brands that I've worked with. And like, the thing is your integrity is the only thing you can't get back. Like, you can make that money somewhere else. Like, that has nothing to do with your future. Like, the kind of like plots you put into the ground of who you are and what you believe in and the brands that you've worked with, like, that's your legacy. And so for me, what's been important is that my legacy is clean. My legacy is something that I can stand by and say, you know, these are things I did because I believed in it. And so I probably said no to about $80,000 worth of income last year. But for me, I had a great year. I had a really good year. Mm-hmm. And I'm really happy that like my brands from last year are like, what can we do this year? And you know, we've had these great relationships because it's been about like authentic collaboration, and I hate the word authenticity at this point because it's like a trend and it's so stupid. Like, it's like, tell us about the trend of authenticity. I'm like, you mean being yourself? Just like being a person. But really like connecting with the brands that you're working with and being like, I like you and you like me and we work together because of that and I feel good. And saying no to those ones that give you that, everybody knows. We've all had that pit in our stomach of this doesn't feel good, or this relationship doesn't feel good, or whatever it is. It's the same like when you're dating someone as when you're working with brands. It's like, you don't just date someone to date someone, so why would you work with a brand just to work with them?
And as managers, that's the first thing that we do when we bring a project to one of our clients is like, no matter what the paycheck is, like, do you genuinely like this product? Would you use this product? Do you like this product? Do you want to wear it? Because if you don't and you start posting about it and you're all natural and you're talking about Diet Coke, like, your audience is going to freak out on you, and then you're going to not get followed, and then the organic brands that you really dream to work with are not going to want to work with you. So stay true to that. We're almost out of time, but I like to end every panel with the same question, and it's, what advice would you give to your younger self? Let's start with you, Colleen.
Oh my God.
Or anybody.
Put me on the spot with that. What advice would you give to your younger
I'll go first.
self? Okay.
My advice would be, no answer doesn't mean no. So if you reach out to the brand and you have a great idea and you want to work with them and you don't get an answer back from an email, follow up. Most likely they have a million emails in the inbox and they didn't respond just because they don't want to do it. Maybe they're just really busy. So no answer doesn't mean no.
I think I would say just, you know, be genuine to yourself. Well, like you said, authentic, I don't like that word either, but just be you and you'll shine through. Be authentic to who you are. You'll be happier. I just think leading a more genuine lifestyle sort of comes across in all platforms, whether I was an editor at a magazine or doing what I did now. I just kind of followed my heart, and it's taken me so many places, and I would have never thought I could be or do, and I'm having the best time. So it's sort of like, have fun with life. You live once, so do what you want to do, and you'll never look back. You're always going to wonder what if. So if you guys have a question or a burning desire to do something, follow your heart, because that's where the passion is, and that shows through in your work. And I think, you know, you'll be better off for it.
I'd focus on building the relationship, especially in this super digital era. It's so easy to work with people very frequently and just do it all over email or do it all over Instagram or Facebook. Pick up the phone, take the time to meet them for coffee, and really get to know them. I think the ROI on it's really high.
Yeah, I would say, okay, I think it's find your voice and know your purpose, right? beyond just, I know that none of you in this room are like in blogging and content creation for the money, right? I mean, of course there's like, it's there and you want to make a living at doing what you love, but I think it's more about knowing your purpose. What are you trying to contribute to this world? What is your voice and how can you bring that to what you're doing? And I think the rest just kind of falls into place really easily when you know that.
Mm-hmm.
I have two paths, because again, my younger self wasn't planning on doing this. So I would definitely tell my younger self, like, failure isn't failing. It is actually because I failed that I'm here at this very moment on this stage, which feels really weird. But yeah, I mean, everything in my life has been guided by things that I thought were failures, and they were actually just, like, it's like, you remember, like, I don't know if anyone grew up in the suburbs. I grew up in the suburbs, and like, we had bowling alleys, and you'd have those bumpers on the side, so you thought you were a good bowler. I kind of feel like I have these like bumpers that have been like, I thought were failures, and the failures are actually bumping the ball in the right direction, and you just didn't know it at the time. And so really embracing and living with like a really open spirit and an open mind to the things that feel gutturally terrible at that moment are actually maybe exactly what had to happen so that your dream actually comes to fruition. And I actually don't know if this is my dream. I love what I do every day. I wake up with excitement, but like, I'm willing to risk that this might fail tomorrow and that my path is actually somewhere else. So I think being open to that shift is like always a good thing, just as a human person, not just as a Instagram person. But then also I think on the business end, if I could give advice to anybody that wants to do what we do, or just in any business, is like, you first. Does this serve me? Does this elevate me? Does this make me happy? Second is your intention is to your audience. Is like, does this serve others? Does this give people something? Does this help the world? And then I think it's about money and the rewards. So like, if it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve others, like the third thing doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.